now, and now that I've turned the camera on, now it's gone. But it basically centers around that. I gotta stop frowning because, like, it centers around me sort of like letting go of things, but they're probably things that, let's face it, like, he wouldn't have the guts to tell me anyway. But the main problem was working out, like, how do we close the distance, and I think that problem was messing with his head, and the fact that he hadn't quite figured that out yet, and time was going on, and shit, it's hot. Why is it all of a sudden? I was freezing a minute ago. And in some shade. God, I feel so wretched at the moment. Anyway, I have to take this thing off because, oh my God. So yeah, because I had something on underneath as well. So that was messing with his head, and a lot of the things that, sorry if I'm shouting, but every time I make one of these messages, it doesn't capture my voice properly. And my hair is, I'm having a bad hair day. A lot of what people assume is the problem in relationships, like that kind of stuff, mostly, for the most part, generally, like, we had a really great relationship, generally, aside from that problem, and that issue itself would exacerbate things. Even if there was like something minor, it was sort of exacerbated by this looming problem of, well, how do we, close the distance, because there's the fact of, like, life and livingness and making a living and all of that stuff and all the logistics that go into that. And we really did give it a good shot, like, we really tried to, we tried many different angles and solutions and different things, plans, goals, and stuff like that. So what I was saying is, there really wasn't anything super wrong with the relationship itself. Like, we got along great, and like, the potential for that is there, and that will never change. But like, a potential is, like, there's always, because we've already proven, like, we can do that. But there wasn't really anything. I mean, there were a few things with regards to, like, faithfulness and stuff like that, but and so what I'm trying to say is, like, generally over the almost 6 years, like, it was mostly pretty good, which is kind of why at the end it was sort of like, well, what the fuck. And so it didn't really get into that kind of stuff until, like, towards the end, and I think he just was like, I don't know, what to do, how to solve it, and for both of us, it was just kind of draining a bit on, mentally and stuff like that. And then, towards the turn of the year, like around the beginning of the year and stuff, I was still, I had recently been out there, and, when we were on the way to picking up his mom at the airport, he started talking about, like, more positively, like, oh, well, maybe we could live in, some other part of the country other than just like LA kind of a thing, and like, oh, like it could work if blah blah blah, and he's talking about it in a positive way. And then when I left, um, he was quite obviously, you know, sad by it, and he also said that he would try to come out in April of this year. And so I was still kind of hanging on to a hope. And um, I think after I left, he pretty much sort of like in his mind sort of just gave up on it. But he didn't know how to do that with me. So he started looking around on dating apps and whatever, like without telling me about it, back in December. And sort of just like let it, told me he needed some time off to think about things or whatever, and that if I didn't give that to him, he was just going to end things right away. And I was like, okay, so, okay, but basically, using that time to like scout for other people and whatever, which, when I found that out later, that really kind of hurt. But so, I was glad that he did. I was happy that he did, be honest with me about that stuff in the end. Um, the reason it was left so messy was just after we talked, we texted a little bit, and that seemed to be fine or whatever. And then he said, oh, at the end, like, I was like, oh, I was feeling sad, I was feeling sad about what I'd learned, and I was actually quite shocked. It was like, it was worse than what I thought. I thought it was just like maybe one date or whatever, but it turned out to be a whole succession of stuff. And then this girl who's on his meditation app, and then he's like, oh God, really? And it just was like a shock to me, just because of uh, the bond that we'd had before, and I really trusted him to just, you know, not do that without actually like being totally upfront with me first. Anyway, that was a shock to me, and so after our conversation, I was nursing my my woes and trying to have some Dutch courage. So the next day, and I got this text in the afternoon. I was just like, what? And it was like all this stuff about, see, you think we're still in a relationship, and if I talk to you next week about any business stuff, you're just gonna think that I like you and I want you, and that you think we're still in a relationship and stuff, and you're just gonna think that, which is completely false. And it was very upsetting to me because he had actually been the one who, like, I was fine with leaving things as they were. I was quite happy with letting things be peaceful, letting it be, chatting every now and then about business stuff. But I didn't want to be on the other end of him while he's dating or looking for other people. I made it very clear that I wanted him to be upfront with me about that and tell me. But he didn't. He basically lied to me about it. So I, you know, and had he come forward and just been transparent with me and just told me like, um, yeah, so I'm, like back in January, I'm, I'm going on dates now. I would have been like, okay, cool, bye. But at least we could have left it without this huge explosive upset, and that's just what I wanted to recover. It was just like leaving it on a clean, okay note, like that's all. Because it was such a shock to me, and I was just dealing with it on my own. I was fine with just leaving it that way. And then the next day, I get this text from him telling me that I will think that we're in a relationship again if he talks to me again, so he's just not ever going to talk to me again. I was like, what bullshit? First of all, I was completely done. Second of all, those were lies. Third of all, it makes it look like he was just, like keeping me as some kind of option, didn't really like, like I'm worthless to him, and it was just another disrespect on top of everything. And it just really, really rubbed me the wrong way. So I told him exactly what I thought, and I held back nothing. Whether that was right or wrong to do that, I'm not going to talk about that. Okay, sure, that probably was pretty awful to receive that. So at that point, I I didn't care. I literally just didn't care about the effect it created, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna tell you what I fucking think about that. It's fucking bullshit. It's a fucking lie. And oh, and the other thing was like he had, I take it as like if you tell me you're gonna do something, fucking do it. Keep your fucking word. Like don't tell me you're gonna. Yeah, I'll call you in a week, and then 3 days later, I've changed my mind. Dude, decide to do it, and just stick to your. Just commit. Say I'm gonna do something, and then commit to it, and do it, and actually stay consistent with what you say you're gonna do, with what you say you think or feel, or what like just do it. You know, don't tell a girl, oh yeah, like I'm gonna do my best to come out in April, and then go on dating apps as soon as she leaves. It's like, really, or like don't tell a girl, yeah, I'm not gonna, sure, I won't disconnect anything from you, and then 3 days later, disconnect the location app thing. I'm like, but you can't keep your word. Like, it's not like you have to seal it with with an emblem, stamp, whatever. Like it's not like you have to sign a legal document. It's just like, hey, I say I'm gonna do something, and I do it, and I keep my word. Be like, have some integrity with what you say you're gonna do. Like, that was the other upset. It was just like, you said, even in his text message later, he said, remember, we're going to talk in a week, or I'll talk to you after next weekend or something. I was like, okay, cool. All right, man. And so it was just like one thing on top of the other. I was already pretty shocked about all the stuff I'd learned, and I was trying on my own to just, no make wrongy thing about it. It was just like, I was pretty heartbroken. But that in itself was on top of what had happened in January, which I had already pretty much healed from. I was fine. I was progressing with things. I was working on my business. Sure, I'd have bouts of like feeling lossy about it and stuff, but for the most part, it was fine. Anyway, so that, I just wanted to get it back to like a basic, just have it be okay. But anyways, yeah, I realized, you know, it's it's not necessarily that we're bad people, or that the relationship is or was fucked, or like there was like anything really major wrong, you know. But the fact that we did care greatly for each other, and then it was, flushed down the toilet. So we're like, wow, that's that's kind of a big deal. But anyways, you know, after it all, I just kind of thought, well, wouldn't it be better if we can just leave it on a, you know, just like a clean, fresh, you know, no hard feelings kind of a way. There you go. Man, it's fucking hot in here.